When I travel to the States, I like to include as many train and model train activities as I can in my itinerary. That's what I did once again during my most recent trip in October and November. Come along, let me show you. Hi, I'm Roy Smith. I live in Panama, but I normally travel to the States twice a year. Most recently, I traveled for 4 weeks during October and November. During the trip, I rode on Amtrak, I visited 3 model railroads, and I did some rail fanning. I did all of this because I'm passionate about trains and model trains. My wife Leonore and I flew on Copa, the Panamanian airline, from Panama City to Orlando. In Orlando, we boarded Amtrak 98, the Silver Meteor, to go to Philadelphia, and in Philadelphia, we boarded Amtrak's Keystone service to continue on to Harrisburg, where we rented a car to drive the remaining 70 miles to visit my mother who lives in central Pennsylvania. Amtrak 98 arrived in Orlando from Miami at 2 p.m., only a half hour late. I think the engineer made up for that half hour during the night because we arrived in Philadelphia right on time at 9:30 the next morning. With the help of the car attendant, we found our Viewliner room after boarding in Orlando. We knew for sure that we were in the right room when we saw this little sign. We were able to go to lunch soon after boarding. Unlike airplane food, train food is really good, and you can choose what you want from a really nice menu selection. For example, Eleanor was able to choose her favorite food, baked salmon, from the menu during our trip. You can strike up a pleasant conversation with strangers that you share a table with in the dining car. You can make your dinner reservations in advance at a time of your choosing. And during your trip, you can get up and walk around on the train. You can go to the lounge car if you want to. You can't do any of those things on an airplane. Train travel really is the civilized way to travel. Now, let me show you brief clips from 3 layouts I visited during the trip. I will post links to longer videos about each of these 3 layouts in the description to this video down below. The West Milton Model Railroad Club in West Milton, Pennsylvania. Todd Treaster's N-scale layout in Burnham, Pennsylvania. And the Penn State Model Railroad Club in State College, Pennsylvania. I also did some rail fanning in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. It snowed a little a day or so before we left Pennsylvania. The snow was thrilling, especially for Leonore, who is from Panama and who has only seen snow once before in her life at the higher elevations in Utah and Wyoming during a trip we took to the American West way back in 2007. And by the way, that's the volunteer fire company across the street from my mother's house, but you can't see the train tracks off to the right. At the end of our time in Pennsylvania, we returned to Orlando by the same route in reverse. I took this photo just before departing the station at Harrisburg. Harrisburg is the capital of Pennsylvania, and this historic station was built by the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1887. If you hold a first-class ticket, you can wait for your outbound train in the Club Acela Lounge at Philadelphia's 30th Street Station. This is where Leonore and I waited for our train to Orlando. The lounge has very comfortable chairs, an internet connection, television, and a bunch of flavors of coffee, as well as tea, hot chocolate, and various snacks, all complimentary. Trains are awesome. They evoke a sense of power, a sense of going someplace, a sense of adventure. Have you ever raced outside to watch them going by? Have you ever looked down the tracks to see them disappear out of sight? I did that many times as a kid, and I still do it when I visit my mother because the tracks go past her house. The trains seem to pass by as if coming from nowhere and going nowhere. The rumbling sound of their motors and the blare of their horns thrills me. They evoke exciting emotions as they go by. Maybe that's why we love them so much. Maybe our model railroads evoke similar emotions. Well, as always, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below because this channel is all about sharing the hobby. And if you're new here, I hope you will subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'd like to thank you for watching, and until next time, happy railroading. Now it's time to get back to work on the layout.